Deputy Thomas Springer, you have 2.5 minutes, and when you're complete, I'm asking you to propose the adjournment of the debate.
Thank you, Cathaoirleach. Minister, just in my contribution tonight, I'm just going to concentrate on the PRSI and social welfare treatment of self-employed people. As has been said and said in the motion, there's about 350,000 self-employed people working in this country at the moment. Many of those are people working in jobs which would have traditionally been employee jobs, but because of moves within the employers, they're now on contracts for services and have become de facto self-employed when really they have no control over their income and their potential for earnings. One of the things that has been the most difficult to deal with in terms of the recession and at the height of the financial collapse was trying to explain to former self-employed people that they're not actually entitled to any social welfare and any social protection when their businesses have failed and they've ended up trying to see if there's any safety net there for them. And it took an awful long time for the department actually to come to terms with that, and the Department of Social Protection to actually ease the burden on them and ease the ability for them to access job seekers allowance, which is a means tested payment. But finally they did act, and they did make it slightly easier for them to get that payment. But self-employed people should have a right to social protection. Self-employed people should, I believe, pay the additional contributions to ensure that they have that right and access to social protection under the PRSI system.
Deputy, 1 minute.
Thank you. I drafted legislation in 2012 to actually give this right to self-employed people, but unfortunately because of the archaic rules here in this House, it was ruled out of order because an opposition deputy cannot introduce legislation that might increase taxation. Now, the motion here tonight calls for a voluntary contribution system to be introduced for self-employed people. But I don't believe that a voluntary system will work. We already have a voluntary system of PRSI contributions for self-employed fishermen, where they can pay an additional 4% contribution voluntarily and avail of limited social protection benefits. Over the number of years that that's been in operation, an average of about 7 to 9 self-employed fishermen have actually availed of that facility. And I believe it's because it's voluntary. I don't believe that anybody voluntarily likes to pay tax, even though they may benefit from it in the future, and PRSI is seen as a tax. But I do believe that the social protection should be extended to self-employed people, and I think that's vitally important, and I think it has to be a compulsory system. And I think we should recognise that self-employed people are less likely to become unemployed because of the nature of self-employment, and they actually do employ people as well, so we should have a favourable PRSI system that provides benefits for them and allows the umbrella for them. Please. I move the adjournment.
Thanks. The Dáil now stands adjourned until 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning.